I ask everybody, Jonathan Ross has promoted this rosary, and he sells copies of my pictures. He puts part of the money in a charity that for my church. On YouTube and on Facebook, he's Holy Faith Media. I'm surviving. Well, I could still work out once in a while, not as much as I used to. It's amazing what a couple of years, how you can change. You go from one thing to another. So it just seems like we're under attack, or we all got a cross to carry. I just beg everybody, again, to look at how things can change in a second. How you could have the most beautiful Catholic landmark in the world, arguably Notre Dame Cathedral, and like that it's on fire. I still say it's suspicious. They say it was an accident. I still say, being Holy Week and being how many churches have been desecrated and how many Christians are persecuted by terrorists and the like, I still say it was intentional. I hope I'm wrong, but think of this as a sorrowful, but also think of it as in a way as a gift from God for those that have been putting off their faith and have not been to confession in a while. Think of it as somewhat of a warning from God, a small chastisement, and I think we're going to have some big chastisements coming. I feel that something's going to happen. We can't even imagine, but I try to talk about confession, about the four last things every night: death, judgment, heaven, and hell, and about sin and confession, because we really don't hear too much about it anymore in church. You may find a few priests here and there, and bishops, whatever, and you might find some stuff on YouTube or some podcasts or whatever, or on Facebook. But for the most part, all we're hearing is fluff and puff. I don't know how else to put it, but you're learning a lot about recycling and climate change and stuff that ain't going to get you into heaven. But what we need to know is that there is mortal sins and there are venial sins, and that when we die, if we have unconfessed mortal sins, it's the church teaches you go to hell for unrepented, unforgiven mortal sins. God has given us another day. Think of that fire in Notre Dame, French for Our Lady. Think of it as praying the Rosary. Our Lady is answering prayers for conversions. Maybe you're the one that needs a conversion, or I, or somebody in our family. Please go to confession. If you haven't been to confession in years, months, weeks, if you've got mortal sins on your soul, please don't play games anymore. You know how many people go to communion on Sundays and other days without ever going to confession with mortal sins on their souls? Nobody's telling them, or they just no longer have the faith like they used to. We need a wake-up call, a reminder that when you receive Holy Communion, that's the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus. If you're in a state of mortal sin receiving Him, that's a sacrilegious communion. That's a mortal sin in itself right there. You go to confession to a priest. Jesus gave the authority to the priest. All you got to do is read John 20:23. The priest is in the person of Christ, in persona Christi. When he absolves you, it's Jesus that's absolving you and forgiving you your sins, but he uses the priest. And There's no sin too great for God's mercy. There's nothing to be afraid of. If you're afraid to go to confession, you've been putting it off, procrastinating, you're worried about what the priest is going to think, I tell you what, it's better to go in that confessional scared than to not go at all.